Okay, so every city or town that I've been in has a curfew in their parks. You can't be, and it's pretty much you can't be in the area, you can't be within the park, or even have your car parked next to the park at a certain area. It's generally when it's dark out. Some cities will or towns will adjust the hours for when it's dark out, or some will just kind of stick with a particular time, like 10 o'clock, or in Salem, Oregon, it's 12 midnight. Um, that's how it is these days. It affects adults. It doesn't matter what age you are. I've been treated like a child in a park, and also parked next to it, next to a particular park, particularly in Silverton, Oregon. Just treated like a child, like, oh, your curfew's coming up, you gotta be out of here. It's like, oh, run home, little kid. Your mommy's looking for you. It's really, it's getting more strict, and I've been reading a little bit about the history of curfews. I come across some information. It's in Can't Stop, Won't Stop, the book. It's a hip hop history, and it really picked up in the 1980s. This curfewing, this making youth illegal, illegalizing youth, and in particular the minorities, the blacks, Latinos. They've suffered the brunt of it, but there's also other people too who have suffered it. I was pretty much a teenager in the late 80s, and early 90s, and that's there's a statistic is like between 1988 and 92 or something. It said that curfew arrests doubled between 88 and like 92, roughly. I need to look at those numbers again, but it's the late 80s, early 90s, and that's when I was a teen. I remember in Rice Lake, Wisconsin, they started a curfew in about the 90s for kids. It was big news. It was like, all right, no kids are allowed out in the city running around when it's dark out after a certain time, like after 10 or after midnight until 7 or 8, which really gave night patrol a lot of power over the city. When it gets dark, it becomes illegal for a lot of things, like it's wartime for the kids at least. And why do they do this? Is to stop crime. This is just gonna stop crime. You break up the groups of people. You make the kids go home at night. Okay. And that's gonna stop drug activity, robbing, stealing, and all that. It'll stop mobility. All right. So that's when you don't have them running around, then it doesn't look as dangerous. Have them run around in their own private property or something, and that's gonna make it look have blacks run around in their own homes at night. To have them separate from each other and in their own homes at night. Make it really dangerous at night. Minecraft does a great job of that, making the nighttime look really dangerous. I always associate the zombies and stuff as cops, but it's really picking on adults. I feel like I'm treated as a kid still, and the reason that's kind of come about too is because of the age discrepancy. The baby boomers were in such a large mass, and they got older. They wanted loosened restrictions when they're 18. Let let me drink at 18 in the late 60s, early 70s, but then their attitudes changed, and they're like, okay, let's start buckling down these kids, making the regulations and laws that'll put them in their homes, or arrest them if they're not in their homes when it's dark out, when it's nighttime. A lot of rules and regulations seem to have favored the baby boomers, but yeah, there's been this real tightening of laws on the homeless people. I was just reading today in the Los Angeles Times, homeless people are having their items confiscated from them. Just a simple, there's a law that a lot of people are arguing is unconstitutional. It's protection from the seizure and your own, living freely and being mobile and stuff. The city, the LA, is coming hard down on the locals there, and LA, it's just another city that's doing that. There's a national league of cities, and it sounds like pretty much every city's in it, and they sound like they're really working towards the singularity, making all the ordinances pretty much the same across the country in every city. They sound like a real power that can rival Obama, the presidency. But I just watched a video on YouTube, Obama addressing the league, and he talked for 20 minutes about making the city, about how the cities can improve on their technology sectors. There's all kinds of new jobs popping up in the technology sectors, but people are underqualified for it. So he's talking about some new initiatives and how local people can improve their working conditions and stuff. I gotta stop this. This is overheating.